These friggin' toys, they get me every time. Every time. Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's Adam here, and today we are talking about Toy Story 5. The fifth installment in the highly popular animated franchise sees our favorite toys meeting a whole new challenge. That challenge comes in the form of Bonnie's new lily pad tablet, a gift that soon sucks her in and consumes all of her attention. Jessie, Buzz, Woody, and the rest of the gang go head to head with this all new threat to playtime and figure out where their place in this big wide world is. When they announced Toy Story 5, I was like, please no. They announced it with like a bunch of other sequels. It was a very like bleak panel, I remember. But then when they announced that it would be centered around the toys coming into conflict with an iPad and the looming threat of technology, I was very curious. I thought, if we are going to do this, at least this subject, at least tackling it from this angle, justifies its existence. I am not a Toy Story 4 hater per se, it just feels largely unnecessary. It's a very nostalgic, like, goodbye to this era. But this, I feel like, is very much in conversation with the world today, and specifically, like, young people today. And I think in doing that, it really sets itself up for success, because I really enjoyed, for the most part, what Toy Story 5 was doing. Kids have the world at their literal fingertips nowadays. The world has never ever been smaller for children. However, they are having more and more trouble connecting and forming like real connections, not just through a screen. I think this is the impetus of Toy Story 5. You know, Bonnie is struggling to connect with her peers, and it is approaching it from that angle. It's not just like a, oh, technology evil sort of lens. And let's be honest, Disney was never going to like totally denounce technology. It is approaching it from this angle of, okay, connection should be easier than ever, so why are we still struggling? What makes like a connection valuable and real? I think it's also going for this really interesting angle where, you know, technology is making these kids grow up faster, but technology is cycled through faster than like the regular toys. We are moving through new advancements in technology faster than ever, so the tech is like more quickly disposed of. I think that's a very interesting perspective and duality to play with the toys versus tech of it all. The other thing that makes Toy Story 5, I think, really valuable and refreshing is that it centers Jessie. We have had glimpses into Jessie's backstory, but she is kind of steering the ship on this thing. Buzz and Woody are kind of side characters in this, and I think that is okay. You know, Woody had his like big goodbye, he's found his new journey, and I think it's really exciting to let Jessie shine. She's always been like a dynamic character at the forefront of the issues the toys face, so it's cool to see her take charge and like lead the story. I do think they're kind of running out of things to do with Buzz. He's just there to simp over Jessie kind of again, and it's sweet, but it is clear to me like we don't really know what to do with Buzz anymore. But in having Jessie centered on this, I think we get to dive deeper into the trauma she's experienced. We get to like really dig into that and understand that a bit more, but also like we see how it kind of colors her experience and how she grapples with change, and she gets to really work through that. I think it's a really wonderful moment for the character. I think in like 3 and 4, like she is a really fun presence, but we just kind of hit the conflict and she's like, I can't do this again, and then we like move on. This, like, she has those like traumatic moments, those like stirrings from her past, but I think she like really works through it, and we really get like these beautiful moments for the character in the story at large. As is the case with many of these Toy Story movies, we are expanding the roster of characters. We have Lily, the lily pad tech tablet, voiced by Greta Lee. I think she is great, although I don't think she's used as much as I thought she would be. I wish there was a little more. Conan O'Brien plays Smarty Pants. He is like a technological potty training device that befriends Jessie, and I really loved his performance here. I actually didn't realize it was Conan until like a specific moment that I won't spoil. I do think like a lot of the other characters are just then getting sidelined. Like Rex and Ham and Slinky have like nothing to do. Obviously, like some of the voice actors have passed on, so like Mr. Potato Head has like one line and it doesn't sound like him. So I do think people will like kind of have issues with that. It is starting to feel crowded. But I really enjoy the new characters, like I can't lie to you. I also really enjoyed Blaze. She is a new human that is introduced. I won't give or spoil the context, but I really like her. I like her animation design. They created a whole new system to get the curls in her hair right, I was reading, and I think she has this like infectious, like lovely energy that really reminds me of Andy. I think where Bonnie is like struggling to like connect and step into her authentic self, Blaze is so uninhibited, and I think that's like really lovely. Joan Cusack, great as Jessie, really gets to tap into some great stuff for the character. I think she really hits an emotional chord there. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen don't miss a beat. Again, they don't have as much to do as they have in the past, but Woody and Buzz are still doing their thing and still doing it well. I think this one is like very funny. It has a really great sense of humor. Like my theater was erupting with laughter, like start to finish. I think it is way funnier than 4, and it had a lot of that cleverness that made the initial Toy Stories like really special. I think there's some really cool animation sequences here. Obviously the technology and the animation has improved greatly from Toy Story 1 to 5, so everything just looks like more detailed and textured. However, there's also these sequences when the kids are playing with the actual toys where the animation style shifts and we get to dive into and dig into the children's imagination in a fun way we haven't done in this franchise yet, so that was really exciting. I do think as it goes on, the pacing starts to get a little more stop and start. There is a specific subplot that does pay off, but it does also feel like it's taking away a little bit from our main subplot, and at a point there is kind of a lot going on, but I do think like the emotional chord is struck, especially at that emotional climax. Like I was a mess. It is such a satisfying emotional result. I wasn't expecting it, just in the sense of it hitting as hard as it did, because I knew where we were kind of heading. I will say I was very overstimulated. The iPhone tornado watch siren was going off as it was happening, so there was a lot going on, but really moved me. It was so touching, and then I didn't stop crying. It was just like one of those endings where I thought it was so sweet and like I couldn't contain myself. I think this movie ultimately like ends in a place I didn't expect, given what we're tackling specifically with like technology and what that means for playtime and for children. You know, it doesn't shy away from the fact that like technology is here, it is ever evolving, it is encroached every corner of our life, like we kind of can't escape it, and it is at our fingertips, it's at children's fingertips, it's everywhere. I think Toy Story 5 recognizes that it can be a useful tool for kids, right? In terms of like education and like honing in on skills, but it can't be the only tool. It cannot consume your life. It cannot be like a band-aid to things. I think, yes, technology can build these bridges and help you connect with people. It can even condense the bridge, make the bridge go up faster. However, there has to be something there that makes you cross, that makes the bridge worthwhile. And I think that is what this movie is ultimately celebrating. It is about connection and allowing people to like see you as you are. I think there is this understanding for parents how scary it is to have a child with this much access, and for the world to have this much access to your child, and how you want to protect them. And ultimately, I love that it kind of just celebrates the weird kids. Like ultimately, the weird kids are going to be the ones having fun. They are going to be the ones that will find their people that will also make them feel celebrated and loved. I'm being schmaltzy. I was really swept up in this. I laughed, I cried. It is not going to touch the first 3. I don't know what could, but I think this comes pretty close. Very earnest, a very refreshing perspective. The animation looks great. They're taking some animation risks. There are some pacing issues, and I do think some people are gonna wish maybe they took a firmer stance, but I think for a major studio blockbuster, I like really liked where we landed ultimately. I gave this 4 stars. I really loved it. I'm getting emotional like talking about it. I was a little nervous when they were like, oh, we're centering Jessie, we're going back to like her original owner. I was like, oh, are we rehashing this very special part of Toy Story 2 and just like drawing it out? And I think all of that is very effective. I think it results in this idea of like time is fleeting, nothing is permanent, and everything is temporary, and that is hard. But what matters is that we had the time at all, and that we showed up when we did, and when we were there, magic happened. You know, like we carry that with us. I could go on and wax poetic, but we'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for tuning in to this review. Make sure you do all the things you're supposed to do with the YouTube channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me everywhere, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.